Hi guys and welcome back to my new video. Today we are going to talk about Assassin's Creed Syndicate. I know that the last time that I made a video like this, it went quite viral for our numbers. It was it was a video about Assassin's Creed Valhalla, about my opinions, about my last ones, and obviously many elements about this one. Today we are going to talk about Sanskrit Syndicate, as I said before, but today we are going to talk about it if it's going to be like worthy to play it in 2025. That's the point, guys, because I finished it and I think that it's like a quite a good game. The point that I have with this one is just the explorations and maybe just how you can in general create many elements and just complete missions, because if you know my last thought on this game, that I'm just going to leave the video on my description, you know that I like that, but I didn't like how they finally just created. Let me just explain, because I think that Assassin's Creed Syndicate is one of the Assassin's Creed games that is quite in shadows, because in general anyone just loves it. I mean, or you like it or you just hate it. I'm not in this part, but I'm kind in the half of these ones, because I like, for example, the combat, even if it's like you with in general enemies, like if they were, for example, just a plastic weapon, for example, that's a good thing, but it can be really annoying a few times. Or we can just say about the characters, because yeah, we can all agree that in general there aren't a lot of good characters. For example, Jacob Frye, it isn't a really good character, but it can be disappointing even with their villains, because if you know it, you know that I said that the point of the game was that they didn't have a really solid enemy, because the villain in this game is quite strange. Let me say that, because I think that it's quite a good. The point that I have with this one, it's just like it could have been so much better, and it's harder to just create a villain that is not going to be good or just like meh, but they really that do that. So I was like, okay, but this could be really much better. For example, wherever you just look at my new videos about Assassin's Creed Valhalla, or in general, every type of game that I'm just going to talk about, you know that I really appreciate a good villain. Even with our new series with Watch Dogs, I really appreciate that, and I'm really liking that. The problem is that in this case, we are not going to just have a really important villain, because the principal villain is just a kind of one that is going to be literally just crazy, but it's not that villain that is just going to be important or just even interesting for us to play. The main point that I have with this game is that its stealth, and in general its stealth, combat, and parkour is quite good, because you can say that it's quite good because you can just observe how they just create that, even if it's like a copy and paste of Assassin's Creed, Unity, because you know that it's like a quite simple one, but just to be more attached to the surface. You know that it's kind of cool when it works. For me, it's like the same problem, we can say that, with Origins, because Sanskrit Origins have a really kind of cool parkour, but the main problem is that this parkour doesn't work anytime. This is the same thing that I just said in the video where I talked about Assassin's Creed Origins video in general, about Assassin's Creed Origins parkour. You know that. And yeah, the same thing that I wanted to just talk about is that if they could have just create something more with these elements, for example, the same thing that just made the team that created Assassin's Creed Mirage, even if the story wasn't really good. For example, like even this game. But the main problem that I would just say about this game in 2025 is just character development. Because yeah, we all agree that Evie is like a really good character, but not only for his thoughts, even with their physics, for example. And Jacob could have been better. We all agree and we all know that if Assassin's Creed Victory would have been could have been the really one that was going to be Assassin's Creed Syndicate, we could have really had a really cool Assassin's Creed game and maybe one of the best ones. Not only because it was dark, because we know that with the DLC, with the Jack the Ripper, it could have been really better. But not only for that, but even with just the combat and the just elements that they added in Assassin's Creed um, Syndicate DSC. For me, if you play it in 2025, you could have just really liked it. Not only for the gameplay or the visual effects, because you know that in when we talk about visual effects, Assassin's Creed Syndicate is a really good one. Talk about this. I mean, let me just finish talking about this one. Because as I said before, the combat in this game is pretty solid because I like how they are fast and how there is not like uh, literally just a time period when everything is just very slow. If you just say about our point of view, because our character is just more fast than them, and then he can just kill all of his enemies. The point is literally with this one because in Assassin's Creed Syndicate, for example, we can say this enemies are just like normal persons, like us, and that's something that I really just appreciate about this game, and I think that they literally just did it right, for example. But I don't know, that's not just the only thing, because if you just watch Assassin's Creed Syndicate gameplay, you know that in general um, they are just going to be more stealthier and just like in combat they are not like the best options, and that's a good thing. I mean, for me, it's a really interesting point of view. For example, the same one that they just used in Assassin's Creed Mirage, and I appreciate that. The point with Mirage was that obviously it wasn't a really good game when you talk about the combat. Okay, so now that I said this one, I'm just going to finish about talking about Assassin's Creed Syndicate with the story, because we know that when we say something about a game that we can just going to play or replay in Assassin's Creed in 2025, we are just going to say some games that are just going to be really good. Let me say this because, yeah, Assassin's Creed Syndicate, it's a solid game because it's a good game in story. I said before yesterday that the point of the story was literally his last enemy that wasn't really good. But if you just take this one and take it out, you're just going to have a pretty solid Assassin's Creed game with some solid Assassin's Creed protagonists, and after this one, you're just going to have the stories of the DLCs pretty solid and pretty good. If you talk about this one with the DLC of the Jack the Ripper, you're going to have one of the best, if not the best, DLC, and that's the only thing that I just wanted to say. And obviously, not only that, but you can just see the other part of the game where you are just going to play with some related um, nephew of um, Jacob Frye. That it's kind of cool part because you are going just to play in in London in 1914, so during the World War One, and that's the literally the point that I want to say. Now, I just finished my arguments. I want to know what do you think about in the comments. like you have done in the Assassin's Creed Valhalla video. Let me know, as I said before, what do you think, and that's just all for this one. We're just going to meet us in the next video where I'm just going to talk about the same thing but in Assassin's Creed Origins. Let you know, it's just one of my favorite Assassin's Creed game of all time. Then, bye guys. Just remember to follow me and just to leave a like. Bye!